going on, guys? Nathan here, bringing you some bad news. This video is just bad news. This is the new Loose Cannon demo primary that came out in the Mecha update for Team Fortress 2, in which 3 new weapons were released: the Ranger for the Engineer, a new shotgun. This weapon, the third demo primary to ever grace Team Fortress 2. And then we have the Vaccinator. Yeah, that's what it is. The new metagun for Medic, and this weapon sucks. The Loose Cannon is really bad. Now, I'll go over everything as to why it's bad, but I guess I should just say that these are first impressions. I've played probably like 2 hours now with, well, actually probably about an hour and 15 minutes with the Loose Cannon, and then probably like 45 minutes with the Vaccinator for Medic. And yeah, so I'll just kind of give my first impressions, so just to kind of give you guys an idea of how long I've played with these. I'm not sure whether an hour is like enough to really get a feel for the weapon, although I think I do, and I just am really not liking it. But we'll get into that right now. So with the Loose Cannon, you have cannonballs have a fuse time of 2 seconds. Fuses can be primed to explode earlier by holding down the fire key. Cannonballs push players back on impact. Cannonballs do not explode on impact, and then minus 50% damage on contact with surfaces. So this weapon is basically the equivalent of the XM25 from Modern Warfare 3. For those of you who don't know what that is, in Modern Warfare 3 there was a launcher, obviously the XM25. Basically it allowed you to shoot a grenade, except that you could set the distance at which the grenade exploded. For the Loose Cannon, it is the exact same scenario. You can prime the actual cannonballs, quote-unquote, to explode at a certain distance. Well, rather, not necessarily a distance, but you control the time at which they fly through the air before they explode, which is a lot harder, actually, to control, per se, than just setting a distance at which they explode. But it's basically the same thing, where they're basically supposed to be very good against campers, or at least the XM25 was in Modern Warfare 3, because you can hit people around corners by simply setting the distance to a very short distance. In this case, for Team Fortress 2, you just hold the actual trigger down for roughly 3 seconds, and then you'd shoot it out, and then it would explode at a very short distance. So the overall goal with this weapon, or rather how to achieve maximum damage, is to actually have enemies be hit by the cannonballs while they are still in midair. Now, there are a couple of super downsides that I've noticed to this weapon so far. First of all, as listed in the stats, it says minus 50% damage upon contact with any surface, and that is the ground, a wall, the roof. Your cannonball automatically loses 50% damage that would normally be dealt to the enemy, you know, just like that, just by hitting any surface. And really, you're losing that extra 25-ish, 30 damage that the enemy normally would have taken had they been hit by a spammed pipe, for example. So obviously the goal of this weapon is not to spam it, but rather to hit enemies in midair. Now, the other thing about this weapon that absolutely kills me is its fire rate. And I don't mean the regular fire rate when you're just spamming it normally. Usually when you're spamming it normally, you get just a little bit below the fire rate of the default launcher. But when you're going for those airburst kills, it is just infuriating sometimes, because for each pipe bomb shot, assuming that you're going for an enemy that's roughly within half of the meter that you're given, for which you want to detonate the cannonball, you have to sit there and hold down the mouse button for roughly like 2 seconds before you can even get off a shot. For example, there have been a couple of times now where I've gone 1v1 against a soldier who I should just wreck normally with the pipe bomb launcher, but he ends up destroying me because he's just cycling rocket after rocket after rocket, while I have to dodge around his rockets, all the while basically taking 2 seconds per actual cannonball launch, and even then hoping that I will hit him with the cannonball. And you know, a lot of demo is just predicting where your enemy will be, and you know, you're gonna end up missing a lot of pipes, but taking 2 seconds per cannonball that has only maybe a 33% chance of hitting your target is just not worth it. It is just not worth it. And that's really just the majority of what happens with the Loose Cannon, guys. You know, add in the con that the cannonballs don't explode on impact. You know, I don't even know how that entirely works, because it seems like I've had times where I shoot a cannonball at a person and it explodes and does damage to them, but then I've had other times where I've seen it bounce off of the person. So I'm not entirely sure what's going on there. And yeah, it's just, this weapon is really, really not good. So this weapon is extremely new, and I will reserve final judgment until like a week from now when I have a solid opinion on it. But being this weapon is so new, it might get some attention and might receive a buff, and a suggested buff I would do, just because I think it does need a buff, is probably minus 25% damage on contact with surface, so that it has more of a spam capability, and probably isn't meant to be a spam weapon, but at its point right now, it is just really not worth using at all. And I guess another buff I would do maybe is like plus 10% damage, so that maybe you can, I don't know, just get a little bit more damage on people with those air shots, because air shots are pretty difficult to accomplish, and if you do get one successfully on like a group of people, I think you should be rewarded a little bit more. So yeah, that's pretty much my first impressions on the loose cannon, guys. Thank you all for watching this video, just kind of ranting my opinions here. Might be a little bit difficult to put up with, but if you did enjoy the video, please leave a rating. I always appreciate it, and I say that every video because I actually do. I do appreciate it. And if you're new to my channel, feel free to subscribe for Team Fortress 2 gameplay commentaries. And that's the video, guys. Thank you all for watching once again, and peace out. Oh, collateral headshot.